Hello guys and welcome back. So let's complete our categories plugin here. The only thing remaining is the view, the edit and the delete and the search. So I bet we can do all these three in this one video. The view works fine. So let's click on edit and see what's going on. So edit looks like this, which is not cool. So all we need to do is go to our views. So that's the plugins, categories, views, admin, and edit. Cool. So at this point, we don't have these categories. So I'm just going to remove this part here. Let me edit that to category. Let's see here. First name does not exist. So let's change that to category name. As always, let me shift all that to the word category and also the placeholder here. Now, looking at this, we could just copy things from the add part like this, yeah, instead of retyping all of this. So I'm going to select from the add here. We'll just add a few things to this. So I'll copy all of this. This is the active, slug, and category name. I'll copy all of that. Then let me go to edit, the edit part. So I want to replace everything. Now keep in mind that everything, the real data is inside the row. So I'm going to grab this, go down here, up to the point where we have rows and stuff, password, and all of that. Retype password up to the end here and paste. So all of that is replaced. Let me just tab everything in a little bit here. Let's go boom, boom. There we go. All right. So now the edit will look much better just by pasting that. There it is. But we need the old info in here, the information which is actually there. All we need to do is go to all these old value parts and put a comma, say row plus the column name like that. So I'm going to copy this just up to the pointer here and go to do the same thing here and say slug. Let's save that. Let's go back. Okay, so we have food and the slug here. We shouldn't be able to edit the slug at all. So, okay, let's remove the slug actually. All right. And here, whether it's active, yes or no, we needed to select. So there's old select here, which is nice. But let's put that there as well. Like so. Okay. Category, blah, blah, blah. That should solve our problem. Okay, so yes or no. So if I put it on no like this and hit save, that should update. Let me put it on a 2 over here. So before we save, let's make sure that our edit controller has the right information. So the ID is needed. We don't need the files part. Nor do we need this part here. We don't need this either. And let's change that to category. And of course, we have no password issues. So let me remove that. We don't have post updated. We can unset the ID, that's fine. We don't have any images to deal with. So all we do is update. And this, no. That, no. And the rest of this is irrelevant. So let's remove all of that. Boom. All right. That's really all there is to it. So let's save that. And let's try this and see if it will actually save. So of course, we have that same issue where we have user instead of category. So let's change that. And that should suffice. So let me refresh. Good. So now, as you can see, the data has changed. The slug remains the same, which is very important. The slug should not change. And the reason we're not editing the slug is because, let's say, for example, for a long time, there's a food category and it had a URL, a very specific URL, like category/food, right? And then you edit your category and now it becomes food too. So that means the other link is now broken, and anyone who is searching on Google for your particular category will be lost, because now that old URL will turn up on Google searches, but it will not exist on your site anymore. So this is why it's not a good idea to edit slugs. This should be editable, but not the slug. So now you can see this was edited and that. So let's click edit again and take things back to how they were. Let me save that. Let's go back, and there it is. So food, great. Now let's make sure that the search is working. Oh, before that, let's go to the delete. So let's fix that real quick. Delete is quick and easy. Let's start with the controller. Okay, so obviously here, instead of user, this is category. And there are no images to deal with, so that's all we need, and that's really it for the delete controller. Let's go to the delete.php page here, and let's remove the image part. Let's change first name to category name, and first name here will change to category, like that. And let's make sure we have a slug as well, because that will help to recognize the record. So let's put slug, but the rest of this is not required. So let me remove this like so, and there we go. And there we go. So delete record, slug, you want to delete, yes or no. And of course here I want to put text center like that, and delete category as well here. Okay, that solves the problem. So let me refresh, and there it is. So we can try this. Let me try and add a new category. Let's say clothing, like that, and say save, like so. Wow, I have a very excited dog outside here. All right, so we have clothing here. I just want to see if the search will work as intended. So let me start with food. I'll just search for food like that, and there it is. Let's search for thing like that, search, and there is clothing. So the search works as intended, as it's supposed to. Okay, cool. So what about pagination? Pagination works as well. That is good. So everything seems to work just fine. Let's try one category we can actually delete, and let's try to be deleted like that. Okay, let me hit save, and let's go back to here. So as you can see, the slug, the way this was created, the spaces were replaced by these dashes here, which is good. So let's try and delete that one just to be sure we can delete, and hit delete. Okay, so there we are, we have a problem. So let's go back. This is the usual problem we've been having. So I just want to make sure that we fix that as well. So delete controller, we are back, and let's change all references to user here to category, and that will solve the problem. So from here, if I click delete now, it's a record deleted successfully. So that record is gone. Okay, pretty cool. Now it means the record number 3, if I add one more here, it will be given the ID of 4. Now, if you've ever wanted to change what the next number in the auto increment will be, you can do that using SQL. Let's just go to the SQL tab, and we'll say alter table categories, and then we'll say auto increment is equal to 3, and then hit send. So that will run that query on that table. And now if I add a new category, let me see, electronics, for example. Let me hit save. You'll see that it will have the ID of 3, as you can see here. So that's how you edit your auto increment if you need to. Alrighty then. So we have categories. That is good. Now we need to be able to use these categories. So this marks the end of creating a categories plugin. And as you can see, it took less videos to create this particular plugin because it's very similar to other plugins. Here it's just a manager, a categories manager. That's what we're supposed to call it actually. Categories manager as a plugin, just like users manager as well. That way you know that the plugins which have manager at the end just means adding, editing, and deleting. It would be good to name them that way. Okay, but the naming is up to you. Anyways, this marks the end of creating categories on this website. Now we'll create more plugins and see how we can connect categories to those particular plugins. All right, guys, I will see you in the next video.